You know that feeling, right? You're watching a pro athlete. Maybe it's a perfect golf swing, or a gymnast just nailing a routine, and it just looks so easy, effortless. And then you try it, and suddenly it's like your arms and legs have a mind of their own. So what's the deal? What's the secret sauce that separates their fluid grace from, well, from us fumbling around?
Look, it's the question we've all wondered about. Is it just, pure talent? Or those 10,000 hours of practice we always hear about? And yeah, of course, those things are a huge part of it. But that's not the whole picture. Not even close. The real secret? It isn't just in the body. It's all happening upstairs, in the mind.
Yep, you heard that right. It's psychology. The whole journey from being a total beginner to an absolute master, it's actually a pretty well-mapped-out psychological process. And if you can understand that process, man, it's like someone handing you the secret blueprint for building any skill. So, what do you say? Let's crack open that blueprint and see what makes it tick.
All right, so here's the game plan. We're going to kick things off with the 3 big stages of learning that everyone goes through. Then, we'll dive into the toolkit your brain uses, the different theories and skill types. After that, we'll check out the X factors that can totally change your game. And we'll wrap it all up by figuring out your own personal learning style. Sound good? Let's do it.
Okay, first things first, the journey itself. You got to understand that learning isn't just one big leap. It's more like a path with some really clear signposts along the way. And lucky for us, a couple of psychologists named Fitz and Posner pretty much drew the map. They showed that whenever we learn a new physical skill, we all go through 3 basic stages.
Let's make this real. Imagine you're learning to shoot a free throw. Stage 1, the cognitive stage, is all about thinking. I mean, really thinking. Your brain is going a mile a minute. Okay, how do I hold this? Are my feet right? Bend the knees, elbow in? It feels super clunky. Then you get to the associative stage. Here, you're starting to connect the dots. The motion gets a little smoother, but you're still actively thinking about it. But then you hit the autonomous stage, and this is the magic. After tons of practice, the shot just flows. You don't think, you just do.
And this table here, this really breaks it down perfectly. Look at that cognitive stage. They also call it the verbal motor stage. You're just soaking up info, and you can make these huge gains really fast. But man, are you inconsistent? One shot is great, the next 10 are terrible. Then you hit the associative or motor stage. The improvements get smaller now, and things can still feel, well, a little disjointed. But that last one, the autonomous stage, that's the promised land. It takes a long time to get there, but that's when it all becomes unconscious, totally automatic. So cool, right?
So, okay, we've got the map of the journey, but what's actually powering the car? What's the engine that drives us from one stage to the next? Well, it turns out our brains come equipped with this awesome toolkit of learning theories that explain how we actually put these skills together.
There are basically 3 major tools in this kit. First up is behaviorism. This is your classic reward system, right? You do something right, you get positive feedback, and your brain says, hey, let's do that again. Then there's social learning. This is huge in sports. It's just learning by watching. We see a coach or our favorite player do something, and we try to copy it. Monkey see, monkey do. And finally, the cognitive approach. This is your brain being a little detective, actively trying to figure things out, linking new stuff to things you already know. And here's the key. The best learning, the fastest learning, usually mixes all 3 of these together.
All right, let's switch gears a little bit. It's super important to remember that not all skills are created equal. I mean, think about it. Nailing a high dive is a totally different beast than threading a perfect pass through 3 defenders in a soccer game. So if we want to learn effectively, we've got to size up the skill we're actually trying to learn.
And this is where things get really interesting, because skills exist on the spectrum. You can classify them in a few different ways. For example, is it a fine motor skill, like the delicate control needed for archery? Or is it a gross motor skill that uses your whole body, like swimming? Is it continuous, something you do over and over like cycling? Or just one single action, like a golf swing? And maybe the most important question of all, is it a closed skill or an open skill?
Okay, let's really zero in on this open versus closed thing, because it's a total game changer. A closed skill is one where the environment is stable. It's predictable. Think about a diver on a platform or a gymnast on a mat. The world isn't changing around them. They can practice one perfect movement over and over. But an open skill, that's sport in the wild. It's reacting to defenders, a changing field, an unpredictable opponent. You can't just have one perfect move. You have to adapt on the fly. And that means you have to train for them in completely different ways.
Okay, quick recap. We've got the path, our 3 stages.
We've got the engine, the learning theories, and we know how to size up the skill itself. But what about all the other stuff? The variables, the wild cards. Let's call them the X factors, the things that make your learning journey completely different from anyone else's.
And a massive X factor is simply how you practice. You've got two main flavors. On one hand, there's massed practice. Basically, long marathon cram sessions with very little rest. This can actually work great if you're already skilled and super motivated. But for the rest of us, especially when we're starting out or learning something really tricky, distributed practice is usually the way to go. We're talking shorter, more focused sessions with real breaks in between. Why? Because it gives your brain the downtime it needs to actually process and lock in what you just learned.
And then, of course, there's the biggest variable of all, you. The human element is huge. Your natural abilities, other sports you've played in the past, all that stuff plays a part. But you know it's just as critical? Your mindset. Things like your confidence level, even your personality, can literally speed up or slow down your progress. And it's so important to remember you've got to build from the ground up. You can't skip steps. You got to master the basics before you can get to the flashy stuff.
The way you're coached also makes a huge difference. Think about it. Information comes at us in a few different ways, right? There's visual, just watching someone do it, which helps you build a picture in your head. There's verbal, all those little cues a coach yells like, keep your eye on the ball. And then there's manual, which is literally hands-on guidance, like a coach physically moving your arm through a swing so you can feel what it's supposed to feel like.
And all of this, really, brings us to the final and I think the most powerful piece of this whole puzzle. And that's you. Because at the end of the day, the absolute best, most efficient way to learn anything is to figure out how you personally learn best.
A really cool framework for this is called the VARK model. It's a great place to start. So ask yourself, are you a visual learner? Do you need to see charts and videos? Or maybe you're auditory. You learn best when someone explains it to you. Maybe you like to read and write things down, looking at manuals. Or, and this is a big one for athletes, are you kinesthetic? You're the person who just has to get in there and do it to understand it. Now, most athletes lean heavily on the kinesthetic side for obvious reasons, but knowing your whole learning recipe, that can open up brand new doors for improvement.
And this isn't just some pop psychology either. It ties right into serious theories like Gardner's multiple intelligences. That term, bodily kinesthetic intelligence, isn't just jargon. It's recognizing that the ability to control your body, to have that coordination and balance and agility, that is a form of intelligence. It's a real, powerful kind of smarts, just as important as any other.
So let's bring it all home. That incredible, effortless grace you see in a professional athlete, it's not magic, not at all. It's a journey through clear stages, powered by real psychological tools and shaped by who you are. We've basically just handed you the blueprint, the complete guide. So now you have it. The only question is, what are you going to build? What are you going to go out and master next?